this is Valentine's weekend, Clayton.
Mhm.
Valentine's falls on a Wednesday, but I think couples are going to be doing Valentine's-y stuff in the days after. Which of these movies, if either, gets any bump or seems like the first choice of just couples going to a movie?
That's a very interesting question because I sort of think neither. It's
But one of
such
them
a
would be one of them would be the more of a choice over the other, I guess, amongst
but it
couples who
would
are
be
going on
so
dates this week.
close to me. I think, you know, Bob Marley maybe because there's at least songs that people might know.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, I think that's the thing, but I also don't think that there's gonna be a lot of dates going to these movies. I think they did a really bad job of putting out anything for Valentine's Day right now. I think Anyone But You, obviously, with the extra 4 minutes of Spice Channel level pornography is going
Right.
to be some sort of inducement, and, I think that's gonna get a nice bump. But it's not gonna be the number 1 movie, and it's not gonna be a big enough bump to really move the meter. So, God, I mean, if you okay, you have a wife,
I do. I have my wife, yes.
and if you weren't doing something else, I don't
Right.
know what you're doing, but if you didn't have other plans and
Mhm.
we must see a new release.
Yes.
You sit her down and you say, "We must do this."
We must do this. Or she sits me down and saes, "We must do this." Who
Well, we know
knows?
how it actually would work, but,
Right. Well,
especially
there
when it
would be a
comes to
third
movies.
party who sits us both down and says, "You guys must do
We
this."
must do
That's
this.
yeah.
So, which one would you guys fall on? Which one would be the decision? You have to do either Bob Marley, you have to do Madam Web. You must.
We must. It's a no-brainer that we would end up seeing the Bob Marley movie, and here's why. Listen, my wife has never been a superhero person. We she just
Person.
doesn't care. Person. She doesn't care, but there was a time, even with her, in which that was a viable option. We saw Captain Marvel in theaters together. We saw, like,
Mhm.
a Spider-Man movie in theaters together. There was a point where that genre was so at the top of pop culture where it was a thing I could say to her and she wouldn't look down upon me. And
Yeah.
she'd feel like, "You know what? People are doing this. I'll go." That time has passed. And I do think amongst those two options, where let's assume even both people in the relationship kind of know these movies, both are going to be bad. They're both getting bad reviews. Both of them are going to be rotten on the tomato meter, all that. The saying, "Let's go see a non-Batman, non-Joker, non-Spider-Man superhero movie right now," is an embarrassing thing to say. Embarrassing. In a way that let's just go see the Bob Marley movie, and maybe it's a bad Bob Marley movie. It's not an embarrassing suggestion.
Mhm.
And I do think that's gonna play a lot into friends suggesting it to see it with their other friend, but people suggesting it to a romantic partner. I do think "Let's go see Madam Web" is just an embarrassing thing to come out of someone's mouth to say to someone who they want to be intimate with.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point because you are happily married and you've been for a long
A
time,
long time.
and I still think you saying, "Let's see Madam Web," and sticking to it
Mhm.
would would create a
Yes.
fissure
Yep.
in your marriage. Not a
Yes.
big one and not
No.
a dangerous one,
N
but a small one, and that is with a very strong marriage.
Yes,
So, if
very
you're
strong.
somebody who's dating somebody for a few months
Yeah.
and you say Madam Web,
Yeah.
that becomes a red flag.
Yes.
If it's a
First
few
Valentines. Imagine this is their first Valentines as a couple,
you can't.
a and you're saying, "Let's go see Madam Web." It's not a
Yeah.
Spider-Man movie, it kind of is. Do you remember Venom? Okay, well, it's in that universe. Imagine saying, "Let's go see Madam Web." It's in the Venom universe.